With the budget cuts, have you had to change your finances at all in that regard? Take out a line of credit or anything like that?
Um, I feel I have this really weird guilty conscience complex about this particular subject because I have the fantastic opportunity of the fact that my dad works for the government. Not to say that he doesn't have that. It's just like he could just send me to school and like everything's fine. Like no, he is taking out loans and stuff, but he's not asking me to. And there's a certain assumption that later on in life, I will either pay him back in some manner, or that the way that I'll pay him back is by, like finding a career in which when he gets old and senile, I can like make sure that he lives in like a place that's nice and that he's not just because his dad is dealing with Alzheimer's.
Right.
And so and my dad's 60. And so the idea that I need to have a career is I guess he just mainly he doesn't want me to have debt. And my sister went out of state for college. She went to the University of Kansas, and she's got a house of debt on her head because she went out of state and she was an art student.
Non-resident, right.
And so when I came here, for the first 2 years I was full ride. I had full scholarship. I was an honor student and I had tops because of how I had done in high school, and so that he wasn't even paying for anything. But then I messed up my grades for a semester, but so now he's paying, but I still have tops. So it's really cheap for me anyway in regards to students in general, considering Southeastern isn't really that expensive of a school.
Right.
And so the situation is that I don't have any student loans or debt, and that's fantastic. But I see my friends who have it, and I see my friends and distress and everything, and so it makes me feel bad that I'm not in debt, because I know that I'm an outlier. I'm not the norm.
Right.
So
you live on campus?
yes, I do.
Okay. So, and obviously that's been affordable through your father.
Yeah.
And your scholarship.
Yeah.
Right.
I live in the apartments on North Campus.
Okay.
Which are actually, if you factor everything in because I've had friends that live off campus ask me, when you factor everything in, it costs slightly less to live in the apartments on North Campus than it does in the apartments off campus, because you don't have to use as much gas. And it's bundled, your technology, the internet and phone and everything like that, it's not something that you pay separately, and neither is water and so so when you factor in monthly bills like that, it costs less for the whole semester. It's just that you're paying a lump sum in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you you've been able to find affordable housing? Have you had any issues finding affordable health care?
I am still young enough to be on my father's federal insurance plan. So I am doing things like getting all my teeth fixed before I turn. But yeah, no, I'm still covered by my parents.
And you are currently employed or
I'm currently
on campus?
No, I'm currently unemployed. I'm an intern, but I'm an unpaid intern.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're interning where?
I'm interning for Professor Burley.
Right.
Yeah.
With the...
I am the farmer's market intern. I am making that happen.
And that's part of the real...
Not by myself.
Right.
Yeah.
You're working with Reconnect?
Yeah, I'm working with Reconnect and with Bonnie Maymay, who is fantastic. This is her baby, and I totally respect that, because she made it happen last semester.
Right.
And with Darlene Walnack, who is a national organizer for these things. I really hope I said her name correctly. I know it's Darlene, but we call her Dar, and she is really Like, obviously, she knows what she's doing. And her help was just, it set us straight and gave me an idea of what I was actually doing.
How have you felt, maybe specifically with Reconnect in terms of seeing it as a student initiative and a venue for students to do something on campus and influence the campus?
I feel that students like Reconnect. Like, in comparison to the things that we do with Dukes or with SSA or with, especially with Solution,
Right.
students tend to respond really well to Reconnect. But it's still not a lot. It's not like a huge thing. Like, if we tabled and people are like, yeah, I like the environment. But then they go home and they eat food off of styrofoam plates and throw it away in the trash can and don't even think about it again, which is pretty normal and typical, and we live on college campus. But I don't really feel like we're having any major impact outside of maybe reminding people to recycle, which you can't actually do on campus. But that's going to be soon. I think it's like a week from now we're actually going to be able to recycle on campus again.
And that's as a result of Reconnect?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. That is because of the school has hired a sustainability manager, and I would like to think that the fact that Southeastern did that is because of pressure that they may or may not have felt from the student body that we need to be a greener campus.
Do you feel that maybe that's the only way, or are there other ways of getting maybe the administration or the school to do things that the student wants? Is pressure the only avenue that we have right now?
I feel like it's presented that way. Like, administration has never walked up to me and been like, "What do you think? What do you think we should do?" You know? And so when there's no communication between, like, essentially the power structure of administration and the students, like, there's no other way for us to get anything done than to, like, stage some kind of small protest, you know? And I that's what I feel like we're doing when Reconnect sets up, like, a small recycling day thing, you know? We're protesting the fact that the school doesn't have recycling,
Right.
you know? So, yeah, but I feel like that's, like, the only way that we can really get anything done, and that makes me sad, because I'm like, yeah, people should care more in general, and not just about ecological things, but that's not typical.
Why is it that there seems to be a tendency on campus and beyond campus that people are so ready for food? You know, not everyone's ready for LGBTQ plus issues. They're not ready for race relation issues. Mm-hmm. They're not ready for immigrants' rights issues. Why food?
They're not ready for religious issues.
Right.
Why food? Because everybody eats. Everybody eats food multiple times a day. You can't, or if you don't eat, then you really care about food. But everybody wants to eat, and everybody tries to eat. And food and the process of acquiring your food and cooking your food or not cooking your food generally takes up a significant portion of, like, how you plan your time for the week. You know, like, you have to go grocery shopping, you have to go do this, you have to do that. And then when you're actually in the grocery store, then you have to budget, you know, you have to think about it. So, like, the food tends to accumulate large portions of your mind, and, well, not accumulate, but it's big. Nobody ever really forgets to eat food.
Right.
You know, and it affects everybody equally. So